Holy shit, bro.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
All right, episode. Say it,
shit.
my bad.
Go, bro.
Episode 9, Stogies and Stuff. Guys, it is our duty to break down the media's agenda for all of y'all, our
Damn
followers. Right. You know, we're growing every week. I love it. We got some pretty interesting topics to talk about today. Mike?
Yeah, and for those of y'all that probably haven't heard, because, you know, it's interesting, bro, but other than us, I don't really know who uses X.
I know,
like,
right?
Nobody really talks about it. They're either on Instagram, Facebook, like the meta-dominated
of course,
social media outlets, Threads.
Of course, TikTok, of course.
Which, of course, makes sense because we are in a Democratic county. As you pointed out to me the other day, I completely forgot that.
Yeah.
But we're in a Democratic county, so what do you expect out of that? Democratic social media outlets, which are Instagram, Threads, you name it. But regardless, for those of y'all that are on X and that aren't on X, I'd really love to bring to your attention the bombshell that came out that's probably not getting that much attention other than from X community members or Republicans. Right. It's being hush-hushed. Because you won't see that on Instagram. You won't see it anywhere there, bro. It's not a coincidence, guys. But Barack Obama, gay? Closet gay? I don't know. Look, first of all, I'm going to make clear, I have nothing against gay people. All right? So this is just pure discussion. All right.
But it explains a lot, guys.
It does.
It does. Okay. We're going to go a little bit more into that. What do we mean by this? Look, first off, these accusations, there were solely accusations for quite some time now.
Yep.
Years. Right? A lot of questions that came into Barack Obama and his sexuality. And
I think since he was elected in 2008.
Yeah, man. And so it's finally shedding light. I mean, if you guys haven't seen this yet, Tucker Carlson just had an interview with Larry Sinclair.
Yep.
An ex-lover of ex-president or President Barack Obama, man. So
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say alleged or supposed ex-lover.
You know, that you're right. You're right. I mean, there's only so much that can... I mean, this was years ago, right? So how can...
Right. This was in 1999.
But it was very descriptive.
Yeah, it was.
If you guys haven't seen it yet...
It was very descriptive. You could say it was almost like too scripted, if you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have a very detailed memory of a explicit, moment that you had with someone that you probably didn't. Well, supposedly him at the time didn't even know was a nominee or was part of the Senate, right? In 1999, or at least almost going to be designated as a senator, or not designated. Sorry. Almost running for senator, right. But this was 1999. Supposedly, this Larry Sinclair, to summarize the interview, which was over 41 minutes long.
Yeah,
Larry Sinclair said that he met up with Obama in this bar.
Well, he was taken by a limo driver.
Yeah,
so a limo driver picked him up because I guess I don't know. He was currently serving, wasn't he?
Yes,
this guy.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
And then he met up with Obama. They had a couple of drinks. They go into the limo. Larry Sinclair gives Obama $250 to purchase some cocaine. Obama goes out, buys cocaine. They come back in the limo. The rest of the night's a party.
Yeah.
Apparently, Larry Sinclair gave Obama some oral.
Yeah, he went down.
That dude went down on the guy twice.
He went down twice. Okay, but twice was the next morning because so Mike and I watched the interview. It was about 41 minutes long to be exact. So it starts off where Larry Sinclair, what he does is he tells the limo driver, "Hey, I want to have some fun. Where can I do this?" And apparently the limo driver, said, "Hey, I know of a place. You're going to ask for this person," which was Barack Obama. And he said he had no idea who Barack Obama was. So what does he do? He goes by for the limo's advice, and he says, "Okay, let's do this then." So he drops him off. He's having some fun with Barack. They get back into a limo. They're apparently both into cocaine. They're doing their stuff, having some fun. And then he goes for a feel at Obama's leg. This guy claims that, hey, he can really read people. He knows if he's able to push it, and
Right.
and that Obama took everything and said, hey, let's do this. Come on. So
Yeah, no
you know,
shit.
no if
Yeah, he just
ifs or
laid
buts.
back
He
and
said,
was like, all right.
let's go. I'm gonna enjoy this. And the guy mentioned, right? Larry mentioned that he could tell that this wasn't Obama's first, right? That he's more than likely had some experience with other men. And so, anyways, they dropped him off at the guy's hotel, and it was late at night. And then a few hours later in the morning, that Obama shows up again in front of his room and says, "Hey," he pulls out some more drugs, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have a little fun again, and then the same thing is practiced. He goes down on him again.
Yeah, no shit, dude. You know, as I was listening to Larry speak with Tucker, I mean, you can see the awe in Tucker's face as Larry's answering these questions. But what surprised me was Larry's composure. Like, he was saying it like he was recounting a story. There wasn't too much thought into it. Like, if you can tell, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the equivalent of someone planning something out. Like, they're stuttering, they can't recall so much or whatever. There's a lot of tells that you can be like, nah, this dude's making it up. But the way he was speaking with Tucker, no papers in front of him, completely from memory, speaking about Barack on their encounter, their engagement. And it's like, holy shit, this guy might be telling the truth.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he might be actually onto something. And it's kind of scary, dude, because one highlight about, I guess, a takeaway of this night of crack cocaine fun. But one takeaway from this.
We'll use that as a label, bro.
Yeah, no
crack
shit.
Cocaine fun.
Was that everybody's got dirt on them, man. And one thing that I was thinking about this is, I'm not saying Barack's a bad person, but it kind of makes you think. This was in 1999. This was almost a decade before his presidential run.
Yeah.
And he was actually put in place by some Democrat funders out of Chicago that found this guy for him to take the place in Illinois as a senator. And then the rest is history from there. But it kind of keeps you wondering, you know, the puppeteering.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get some blackmail on somebody. You have them have a fun night like this. Maybe this Larry Sinclair was a innocent bystander that just happened to be in the crosshairs of these high people.
I think that's exactly all it was. I mean, this guy was just someone that Barack was trying to have some fun with, right?
Yep.
That's all it was. But naturally, I believe that you and I don't necessarily ever believe what's on the media. I mean, that's initially what sparked this whole podcast, right? So when I was coming across Tucker Carlson's video with this guy, I said, well, how credible is this? But then I paid attention to the source. Tucker is not going to have any type of bullshit really on his show, especially since he's completely independent now. You know, at least from what I'm seeing, there's a reason why Fox let him go, was because he was really trying to he was pretty much fed up with agendas, and he said, hey, you know what, I'm just going to push out some real shit. So take into account the source, and then of course the way everything was brought up, the information with Barack. There were some other things that I remembered, and again, the media doing the whole hush hush was about maybe no less than a month ago, all these letters to Barack Obama's ex-girlfriend, Alex McNear, right?
They surfaced.
Were surfaced. Exactly. This was about 40 years ago, guys, and it pretty much touched homosexuality. This was, I believe the year was about 1982, if I'm correct. I'll pull up the source in a bit.
Holy shit, that is a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 1982. So they were students at some college in LA. I believe it's called Occident or something of the sort. But in the letter, he basically states that he continually fantasized about men, right?
Read that line, bro.
So
read the infamous line.
In the letter itself, it was stating, my mind is androgynous to a great extent. I hope to make it more until I can think of terms of people, not women as opposed to men. He added, but in returning to the body, I see that I have been made a man. And physically in life, I choose to accept the contingency. Fuck, guys. What really stood out to me with that whole part in the letter itself was that right now he says, it is more so until I can think in terms of people, not women as opposed to men, right? I mean, shit. from that, what that's telling me is he wishes things were differently as opposed to how men and women were looked at. And what the fuck are we dealing with
Look
right
at
now?
the agenda right now, guys.
There is no man. There is no women. There's no such thing as a woman, or what is a woman, what is a man. In other words, they're claiming you can be whatever the fuck you want. Why? Because, hey, the agenda is this is what I always wanted, so I'm going to change this. I'm bringing this to power.
I love this line, and I'm going to steal it from Vivek, whether he got it from someone, I don't know. But it's just becoming a tyranny of the minority. You know, because, guys, let's face it, the whole LGBTQ community is the minority. Now, they're not the same minority as racism, nothing even close. They're not deprived of certain rights that everybody has now, you could argue. But this line right there, that from that letter, you can consider a freaking manifesto. I mean, and just so we're clear, I'm going to look up definition of manifesto, and it's a public declaration of policy and aims, especially one issued before an election by a political party or candidate.
Oh, shit.
Think about that, guys. This is 1982. This is even longer than before this whole Larry Sinclair incident.
Over 40 years ago.
The fact that this man, Barack Obama, saying this to in a letter to his ex, I think can be declared a manifesto on what he wanted this nation to be, because he is a closet gay. He is someone that cannot come out as he wants to be because he's going to be scrutinized by the public. He would.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, it's not necessarily something that's normal. And just because it's not normal doesn't mean I'm going to frown upon it. You do what you want with your body, all right? I'm a proponent of respecting others, okay? But when you read something like this, I declare it as a manifesto because look where we're at. This nation is becoming somewhere where it's trying to declare that. Inadvertently, it's trying to be like, oh, we're all just people, accept me as you are. And not just accept me, it's you're going to accept me as I am.
No, you're going to be a part of it. That's
and
what it is.
whether Obama wanted it to get to this level or not, I'll never know.
I don't know,
Like,
but
to be this
regardless,
adversarial?
he played a huge role in it regardless.
Right.
It got out of control. That's what I want to say. So, I mean, it's fucking scary. Well, it's not scary. It's just disappointing, you know? Again, we have nothing against homosexualities whatsoever. It's the thing is how the method of bringing about homosexuality and making sure that, hey, you either accept it or we're going to cancel you, is being managed. You know,
Yeah.
that shit. This shit is breaking our nation apart because initially the USA is supposed to be a diverse community, right? A diverse country, right? In itself. So we are supposed to accept each other and our differences, but that doesn't mean now what's going on right here is, hey, there are no differences. We either have one view and you're going to accept this view or you're fucking out, or we're going to destroy you. We're going to cancel you. We're going to shame you. We're going to target you and your families. And that's not right. That's not. Freedom of speech no longer is managed here anymore.
I mean, that's exactly right, bro. I mean, it's interesting because freedom of speech has become more of they're framing it more as like a threat to the democracy.
They're treating it like hate.
There's a reason why it's the First Amendment. It's because it's the first thing you can think of that actually makes a democracy. A democracy makes you heard. A democracy takes into account the opinions for the betterment of the society, not for the betterment of hidden agendas. And to twist and turn freedom of speech, our First Amendment, as this whole hate tool is highly inappropriate. And it's very unprofessional because it's the whole reason why we're able to come and talk to you guys about our opinions. It's the whole reason why any of you are able to voice your own opinions. Don't forget that. It is a tool for everybody, not just us, not just people that feel like they need to rant about this stuff, which is how I feel. I feel like, you know, things aren't being heard and I want you all to hear my opinion. I want you to hear everything, but it's as the Bible puts it, it's a place to communicate. We need to communicate about these things. And guys, one thing that this frustrates me about is they always say this, in a social gathering, you never want to talk politics or religion. But there's a reason why they made that tagline. They don't want you to talk about it because the real politicians and the religious people want to be in control. They want to be able to govern what you talk about. And I think that's bullshit. I think we all need to make it known to talk politics, and we all need to talk religion. I mean, just looking down at the definition of politics, okay? What is politics? The activities associated with the governance of a country or other area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or parties having or hoping to achieve power. Guys, in a time like this, where you have presidential candidates going around speaking in gatherings, we need to discuss this stuff. How the heck are we going to come to a consensus and vote for people when we can't even discuss their policies or what they want to implement? Let's get now to the definition of politicians. A politician, a person who is professionally involved in politics, especially as a holder of or a candidate for an elected office. What does that mean? It's basically a proponent of politics. And what is politics? The current state of what a nation is at and its problems and or victories and or successes. We need to talk about it, guys. And I feel very passionate about this because my brother and I always talk about it. We always argue, guys, but we're not afraid to push each other's buttons because at the end of the day, nothing's going to change us being brothers. You know, we love each other to death, but we also need to understand where we're both coming from. And I highly advocate for this, guys, and as you should too. Don't sell into this whole fake woke agenda because it's not about being woke. It's about complying with their agenda. And if you're truly woke, you're going to see that we require a First Amendment. We require a platform for freedom of speech. Don't give that up.
As soon as you give that up, it's fucking over. Start looking at somewhere else to live because you give up your freedom of speech, guys. No one's going to give a fuck what you think anymore. It's kind of, you better do this shit or else, you know. And so they're trying to get rid of the middle class. We're going to be here to say, fuck no, that ain't happening. Okay, but yeah, man, I mean, that touched a big part. And I'd like to say with that coming about, the woke are being woken. What the fuck do I mean by that? The woke are being woken, okay? Biden, are they tumbling out of office? Yeah, they're tumbling. They're definitely tumbling. What do I mean by that? His whole administration is being looked down. Well, first off, the label behind them, Biden economics, right? Bidenomics. Or what do they call it, Mike? Sorry.
Yeah, Bidenomics.
Bidenomics, man. This whole shit is falling apart, right? It's outdated. At least that's some of the shit that Mike and I talk about. Their whole strategy for bringing back America up and fixing supposedly what Trump brought down, which wasn't the case, evidently. And on contrary, they're the ones that are actually making shit worse. Everything that was worked on by the people, by our leader, has been brought down. Wars are coming about. We were peaceful. Everything was working seamlessly, right? We weren't having any issues. Now all of a sudden we're in war or involved in a war. Some people say we're not necessarily involved, but yeah, you know, we're fucking involved. And you know, the people have had enough. They're saying, Biden, thank you, Grandpa. We're done with you. We did vote for you. Oof, right? Oof. Oof. You know, we did vote for you, but it's just, we got to get you out. And unfortunately, one of the biggest relationships he had with CNN is even they're agreeing. I mean, if we pull up some clips right now with CNN.
Oh, shoot. I saw that, dude. What you sent me?
It's fucking crazy, man. It's like, it sucks to kind of be like, I told you so, but I told you so.
This morning we have brand new CNN polling. The numbers, they're looking rough for President Biden. We've been talking about it all morning, and the fact that it could be a troubling sign for Democrats and the president's hope for re-election in 2024.
There is no way to spin this. CNN reads the country's mood right now and finds that America is deeply unhappy with Joe Biden. Most Democratic voters hope for a change at the top of the ticket, and Americans don't take the president at his word when he talks about his son, Hunter.
Joe Biden's like that grandpa that you love, that you believe in, you owe a lot, but you start to wonder, would you give this grandpa a high-stress job for 6 more years, or would you want something else for him?
55% of Americans, a majority, believe Biden's actions related to the Hunter Biden probe inappropriate.
Oof, problematic new polling numbers out this morning for President Biden. The CNN poll finds his approval rating sinking to just 39%.
Wow. Uh-oh. That's right. Biden is now polling at 39%. That's a level that only Jimmy Carter matched. Now, Nearly 60% believe that his policies have now made our economy worse. Why? 61% of our fellow Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Average American now owes $54,000 in debt. 58%, and again, a CNN poll, don't like Biden personally. What's to like? They think he's a bad person and unlikable. A whopping 76% are worried about Biden's ability to even serve another term justifiably. 67% of Democrats, they wish they could have someone else other than Biden leading the ticket. And despite Biden's many, many lies, over 60% of voters think that Biden was involved with his son's business dealings abroad that brought in tens of billions of dollars for Hunter and company with no experience at all whatsoever. They believe Joe was involved. Now, all of this despite a huge amount of evidence that Joe Biden committed really serious crimes. Then, of course, we have the Joe Biden bribery, money laundering allegations. Now we have photographic evidence of him meeting with some of Hunter's business partners, having lunch with some of them, Cafe Milano, oligarchs from Russia, Kazakhstan, elsewhere, 20 phone calls that Devin Archer talked about. We got eyewitness testimony, we've got texts, we've got emails that Joe benefited financially from all this, and a very lengthy paper trail showing possible money laundering. And of course, look at the amount of money we're talking about. Not a couple of $1,000s. We're talking about tens and tens of millions of dollars funneled to 9 family members of Joe Biden through shady shell corporations, according to House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer. Hunter Biden and his sketchy overseas business deals with China and Russia and Romania and Kazakhstan and Ukraine and Mexico and all these other countries, all these foreign business deals were at the center of it all. And yet Joe Biden's weaponized DOJ, they were ready to sweep it all right under the rug. But now even fake news CNN, they're starting to sound a lot like this program, more and more. By the way, I'd like to thank them for watching, but they should give attribution for getting the story right to us. Take a look.
DOJ has given me whiplash on this one because 6 weeks ago they did walk into court and they were ready to get rid of this case for a misdemeanor and dismiss the gun charge. Now they're about to indict him for a felony gun charge, which would likely carry jail time if there's a conviction. The only conclusion that I think is consistent with all this is that the whistleblowers were right, that initially DOJ was ready to go in there and give this deal away cheaply. And when the political pressure amped up, DOJ did a complete 180.
You know,
Yeah,
they're
guys.
finally waking up.
Well, all I was gonna say was that you're absolutely right. It's kind of scary to have your own party start to turn on you, but sometimes it's not. I always consider it like pride. A lot of people, everybody has pride. Everybody does. We're all sinners. We're all inherently bad people. But the idea is to become a good person. You know, the question I heard is usually are we good people that turn bad, or are we bad people that are trying to be good? And my answer to that question is that we're bad. We're naturally bad people, but the road is to be as good as possible. We're born sinners. We're born into a world of sin. And it'd be very naive to think that you're naturally a good person, because there's no such thing. We are bad people trying to be good. And that's what makes it so cool. It makes it cool because when you have a world that's, I don't want to say designed, but has already gotten to a point where it's very questionable, and you have to question everything. It makes you feel, it gives you hope when there's people that actually tried to be good. And, you know, I'm sorry, I don't know where I was going with that.
I was gonna say, damn, you got deep, bro. We're all bad people. We are. Bad Biden.
And, it's the party switching on Biden.
Okay, go.
But for some reason that triggered that. Sorry. I blacked out. like
okay,
Will
man.
Ferrell from Old School. Shit. I blacked out. What just happened?
I just felt like giving you a hug right now, bro. I was like,
know,
hey,
right?
man, you okay? You wanna talk about it real quick?
Shit.
You know?
Yeah, I do want to talk about it. But guys, I think it's just important. I think it's important that when you see that now they're calling him the old man, an old grandpa, and they're letting him have it now, man. Yeah. Like his polls are down. What is it at now?
Let's just say 76% of Americans say they are seriously concerned his age affects his ability for the full term. if reelected. So 76%. I mean, there was even a fun fact that brought down this. The polls also possess the implicit question of whether Biden will end up like Jimmy Carter. So Jimmy Carter, who tumbled out of office after a single term as well. You know, so, hey, man, I mean, again, we always go back to history repeats itself. Same shit here, guys. So, I mean, aside from his age, guys, there's just no trust in his leadership whatsoever. I mean, everybody already, it's basically, if you're still denying this, just accept it already. Look, when Biden was serving as vice president, maybe even right now, even as presidency, he was involved with his son's bribery, right? And what I mean by bribery, these things like, hey, well, you're going to send me some money so that I can get you some influence from my father, right? There's just no question about it. Yep. Although Democrats are saying there's no proof, there's nothing but proof. They just keep labeling the proof as no proof. Yeah. So it's fucking ridiculous. It's just stupid already. And so there's the business side, bribery. There's the economic side as far as trying to boost up manufacturing over services, which now the U.S. is basically all service-based. We're in an industry of service.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely migrating that way.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, from construction to healthcare, all that stuff. Their team is initially what you guys prioritize now is what they're trying to go against, which is why we're all shit now. Like there just hasn't been any move. Inflation is still high. It's at an all-time high. It's not getting any better. Immigration has completely gone out of control. I believe there was an article I came across how New York right now is really experiencing a hardship with immigration and their kids specifically. So this is what I mean. The woke are being woken, right? Parents right now, New York, which was heavily invested in Biden, they're saying, hey, we can't even get our kids comfortably into school because it's completely filled with immigrants. Granted, we love people in society as a whole, but hey, this wasn't managed correctly. And that's initially what the border wall was set up for, so that there can be a proper management for immigration. Yes, there is a lengthy process to it, but there's a reason for it all. Hey, you put the process into work. And granted, you know, you might say, hey, well, it's easy for you to say. You're right. Fortunately, I was already part of the USA. I was born in here. Parents served military, all that good stuff. However, you know, there would be no other way for us to manage an influx of immigrants, right? Why? Because now their kids, these parents' kids, these kids can't how can I say this? Enroll to school comfortably. In other words, they're being pushed agendas where, okay, do you have your vaccines? They're being required to start speaking Spanish, which is like, hey, that's cool and all. You know, don't get me wrong. Learn some Spanish, learn a different language. But does your kid know Spanish or not? Okay, they can't join this class. I'm sorry. When that wasn't necessarily the case. So there's all these adjustments that are being pushed out on the parents, and the parents are just like, hey, what the fuck is going on? Like, this was never done before, and there wasn't even notice given. You guys are just kind of throwing this all at us right now. Mm-hmm. Why? So it's the leadership, guys. Biden's numbers are down. He's going to be out. I don't think there's trust for the Democratic Party whatsoever either. And time to bring Trump back, guys. Time to bring our leader back. His polls are high. He's taking over.
And the odd thing about that, man, is like the more the deep state tries to dig into him, like by fourth indictment already, the more they prove his point.
Yeah.
Like the more they prove that they're weaponizing this against him.
That's right.
And I think the people are starting to see that. Because the other day he just went to, I think it was Iowa State's football game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even consider it like a rally, but it turned into a rally because people are still flocking towards him. So deep state, keep it up. I mean, because you're doubling his numbers. You're making him be this glorified white knight, in other words, like more relatable to the people, because the fact that he's going through this while still being a presidential candidate just tells people, at least it tells me, that he's a person just like us, and he's not invincible. There's no corruption there. Because when you look at Hunter Biden, the fact that they dropped this case due to a venue issue, and now Wise, or Vise, I don't remember how you pronounce his last name, is saying that they're expected to drop another indictment on the tax and firearms charges come September 29th, expected. I don't even fucking know anymore, dude. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I'm kind of just, I feel like I'm giving him rent-free space. You know what I mean? In my mind and discussing anymore. But I just bring it up because it reminds you of this deep state and how they're weaponizing the DOJ to their discretion and their will. So it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing in that aspect because I'm pro-Trump. And I'm pro what message he stands for. And it's the fact that he's fighting for us and he's keeping the middle class in mind. He's keeping us in mind, guys. And you have to remember that. You have to remember that rhetoric aside, persuasion aside, this man, other than being a master of labels, because I love the way he comes up with these labels, Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe, you know, all that shit. But it just sticks. And aside from all that, there's this article that came out from ABC, I believe. And you know what? We'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Bring it up, bro. Bring it up.
Yeah, okay. So this article, ABC News, Trump's unprecedented campaign pitch. Elect me to get revenge on the government.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's going to happen.
Holy
love him,
shit.
love him or hate him. You're still a fan, ladies and gentlemen. You're still talking about him.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get that revenge.
That's true rent-free.
We got to be better, bro. That's us being bad people like you're saying. Fuck, Mike. We're not bad people, bro. We're bringing justice. Justice in the name of justice.
What is justice, Marty? Right?
Okay, calm down, man.
I know, right? No shit. But guys, I mean, it's just facts, you know. I think Trump has now more than ever become more of a man of the people. Whether it was inadvertent or planned out, we'll never fucking know because I don't think he planned to get indicted 4 times, especially the way it came about.
Yeah, no, there's no.
But I think his response to each of this was fucking great. It was masterful almost because it reminds you that everything I've pretty much said. He's a person, and he's dealing with it like we would, down to his freaking mugshot.
Iconic mugshot. I still need to get a shirt, bro.
Yeah, dude. We need to order one, man, and wear it to the gym.
So some of it all, challenges on challenges, right? And so let's talk about certain challenges we have with the fucking entertainment industry already, man. Guys, if you guys haven't noticed yet, media is fucking influence, okay? It's the biggest reason why Mike and I invested so heavily in the media, even prior to this podcast. But let's go a little bit more what I mean. The elites, man, changing people, taking souls. Doja Cat, what the heck is this? What is even going on? Demons on demons. She's pushing out her demons. I mean, have you guys seen that whole new video? It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, she literally looks like the fucking devil. I don't condone to this behavior.
Right?
I don't accept it. No, I mean, it's a catchy song. Don't get me wrong. It's got good bass. It's like
it's an entire hook, bro.
I caught my whole like head bumping. I was like, no, this is wrong. Fuck this. No, I ain't listening to this shit. Right? But we're gonna share some clips and shit and shit. I mean, she literally looks like a fucking devil, dude.
Guys, that's exactly right. I mean, it's kind of weird the way she's expressing herself. A lot of people, well, almost everybody's probably gonna argue that this is art. I don't necessarily disagree completely because in its most basic form, art is an expression. Okay, I get it. Then you can argue anything's freaking art. But it's sort of like that one song by Drake and Jay-Z. It's it's cool. It's the song. I forgot what it's called.
What's it go like?
It's in his hold on. I gotta look this up really quick. I can find it really quick. Oh, Pound Cake. And its opening line is one of its opening line, it's in the beginning. But it's like, only real music is gonna last. All that other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow. So understanding that, if you recognize that, what he's saying is he recognizes that it's music, but it's bullshit at the end of the day.
Yeah, man.
And it's not gonna last.
If we're
and
bringing
this
up,
whole
go ahead.
Whole thing of it being art, okay, you want to argue that it's art just because it's an expression, go for it. If it makes you feel better, fine. It's technically art. But is it real art? No. How does it further society? How does it help people get better to to help them really look within themselves and put something out there that is going to artfully help society progress. Though it technically may be art from a technical standpoint, I think it's a load of bullshit. And I think it's a way to further an agenda of weird ideologies and Satanism.
Going against our conservative views, right?
Right.
Pretty much. I mean, you don't even have to say it's conservative. I mean, what's just right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And at the end of the day, it comes about as if you're praising the devil, right?
Yeah.
And us being a Christian-based or Catholic-based audience, most of it, well, I can't even say audience, but just country. I'll talk about the country in general. We're either Christian or Catholic mostly here. And there's a variety of different religions here also that are strong believers in God. And again, we can't dictate and tell you, hey, this is the only view you should have. But at the same time, just as you guys want us to respect your artistic views, hey, you know what? If I should have the ability to speak against this. Hey, I don't like this video, at least what it represents. I understand you want to express yourself in whatever manner this may please, but if it's going to influence the kids towards a certain agenda, fuck no. I'm not going to be all... I got no kids. Mike's got kids, my nephews and stuff, and I know of some others that I care about. So I don't want them being influenced by these kind of things. And so I don't really pay attention or listen to Doja Cat. I just know she's grown a lot. I hear her more every day on the radio, Twitter. I mean, just everything. Yeah. X, you know, she's playing an influence with her music. But what the fuck is up with this whole demon shit? You know, it's like, be better. That's going to be our slogan. Just be better. What the fuck? I mean, Mike, you touched a cool topic in regards to, you know, any other music that really isn't music won't last, right? Pretty much, to sum it up. Right. You know, it was expressed differently, and you use the whole pound cake as a reference with Drake and Jay-Z. And another one I can bring up is J. Cole, which I think it's 1985, right? I believe that's the name of the song. But he also touches the same thing. J. Cole, I think, is a great artist too. He tends to rap about things that he feels really matters. And so one thing that he mentions basically in that song also is like, hey, look, right now you got some following, like for these young rappers, right, or hip hop artists. You're following the cloud, you're following trends, but that shit's not going to last. You know, talk about shit that really matters, things that are going to bring about right change, because he talks about himself, you know, he's basically saying, hey, basically the way I've been doing it is I don't go about with trends. I talk about shit that matters. I treat this as real art. I put my heart and soul into this. And that's why I'm going to outlast any other trends that are going on here. And to this day, that's relevant. And right now, when he pushed out that song too at the time, he was talking about trap drums and all that stuff, all that shit that's hot now, right? That's initially a line that he puts out, but that shit doesn't last, right? And so this too, the whole demonic shit, I mean, shit, there's an awakening coming, right? And I don't mean like, you know, it's the end of the world. What I mean is we're waking up. We're saying, hey, you know what?
You're starting to see through the bullshit.
This is pushing too much bullshit. It's time to change. It's time to take over. I mean, we have a lot more control of what we can influence our beliefs and our opinions on too. And if we want to speak out against it, that's our God-given right. It's just it's crazy. And like I said, the song's fucking catchy, man. I can see why probably teenagers mostly are probably jamming out to this
bobbing
shit.
Their head to it,
yeah, in clubs downtown. I mean, it's got a hard beat. It's pretty catchy ass song, you know. But it's like, fuck, man. Like, you couldn't do something better.
Yeah, guys. And at the end of the day, what is she really saying? Like, okay, what's the main line in this? I think it says, now that my pocket's full, how do my demons look? Something like that.
She basically say, I got all y'all now. So
right. But it's like, what's her message at the end of the day? Like, if you want to call this art, okay, yeah, we're going to see the real you. Well, what is the real you? All right, because if we're going to dissect this, okay, in its most basic form, it's a simple ass message. She's saying that she's no longer requiring to be at the standards that people expect, and that she's going to be seen as a demon because it's what she wants to do and not conforming to the standards. Okay, well, what is it? What is it about you that's so demonic or so doesn't comply to the standards, or why would people see you that way? Like, my thing is, instead of telling people the message, just do it. Like, why are you just saying it? And even then, be better. Be an actual person. If you know you have that much influence, then do something good with it. What the fuck are you going to do this whole, like my demons are coming out or whatever? What the fuck? Like, basically you're inciting not violence, but you're inciting weird ideologies that aren't necessarily for the public good. Like, really think about it. What are you saying, that your real whatever you're going to do is bad? I mean, I don't know what to take away from this other than, we're going to see a side of you that we haven't seen. But what is that?
I guess we'll see.
Right? We'll see, right? But this isn't her first video like that. She did one a month ago, Paint the Town Red.
Yeah, this is the second one. You're right.
Yeah. And that one wasn't as demonic, you could label, as this one, but it was definitely along this spectrum. So it's kind of like, all right, what are you going to say?
Yeah, this is the second one in a row
Yeah.
that you're pushing out. So I guess we just got to keep watching, man. Hey,
Be better.
At the end of the day,
Be better.
You're deciding to do that, so you understand there's going to be some repercussions regardless, right?
Yes.
So
that's right.
Hey, that was your choice. Freedom
That's
of
right.
choice,
You chose this
You
life.
chose this. So it's not like you need to look down and be like, oh, well, you know what? Now I got demons and I'm going to show you guys I'm the devil and all this stuff, right? That's not really the case. What we're basically bringing up is there's no coincidence that right now the agenda is pedophilia, homosexuality, which is fine. Granted, everybody respect to each their own. But what I mean is how that's influencing society. What we mean is mostly the kids. It's like allow the kids to make their own decisions. Don't mutilate them right now. And you know what? Talking about mutilization, did you know that Indeed, right? That whole workforce or the whole, they have pretty much they're aiding workers or businesses with $10,000 for their kids if they end up wanting to transition.
What the
But
fuck?
obviously, these $10,000 is to help them so that they can get this procedure done in a different state. Right?
What?
Something that allowed it, which is fucking weird. Yeah, I came across that and I was like, but anyways, that's the fucking agenda. Really influencing the younger generation so that, hey, you know what? Once they come about, this is their norm. It's like, hey, you can't change this because it's always been like this for us.
Right.
And
look,
demons, elites, all this shit, it's all together. And you know what? Just like there's bad, there's good. This is where we stand together, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it is.
yeah, I mean, guys, what we need to be doing is not necessarily telling the kids, oh, you want to do with what you feel? Okay, like we're going to help you do physically to you, alter yourself physically to help you go with what you feel. No. Treat it objectively. Inform that child, look, if you do this shit, this is what's going to happen to you. This is how it's going to mess with your brain. This is what it's going to do to your physical body for the rest of your life. You're going to have to get treatments for this. You're going to have to make sure, you're going to have to understand the complications of this, XXX. You can no longer have kids for whatever reason. You cannot do this and this and this. That is what needs to be done. They need to be fully informed. If you want to treat them as adults, then guess what? Fucking tell them what they're going to face. Don't do this whole, I'm going to do with what you feel and help you get there. No. Tell them what they need to hear. If you're so adamant about treating them like adults, then fucking tell them what they need to hear. And then have them sign consent forms, waiver forms, you name it. Because this is bullshit. At the end of the day, parents, I'm with you. You govern what your child is done because it's up to us to advocate for the child and it's up to us to objectively steer them in the right direction. And that's a load of bullshit. That's a load of bullshit. You can make that decision later if you want, after you're fully informed and your brain is fully developed. But right now, I mean, you're going to do what I'm telling you to do.
To sum it all up, guys, I think what these topics we really talked about today just comes down to the influence the leaders we choose play overall, right? From past presidency to current presidency to future presidency to media influence with celebrities, everything comes down to influence. What's being influenced, what is trying to be pushed out on us, or not necessarily on us because we're pretty firm on our beliefs, but on the next generation. So it's up to us ethically to protect the next generation and show them what's right and wrong, what's strong, what's weak, what's better, Fuck. I mean, what's morally better, right? And so the world will never be perfect, but it's how can I say this? The intent of being better, what's really looked at, right? What was my intent of doing or pushing or speaking my opinion behind this? What was I really trying to do? Was I trying to be manipulative or was I trying to be play a service for the overall good. Okay, so
I think that's the overall message. Just guys, like Mo said earlier, be better. It's a consistent theme that makes you constantly question yourself and say, am what I'm doing going to make me better? Is what I'm doing in at least some shape or form helping me get where I want to get?
exactly.
It's not easy, guys. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said that everything I do is for the better of myself. Sometimes it isn't, but guess what? It's recognizing that and eliminating it that makes it part of the journey and makes it so hard. But you got to do it, and myself included, we have to do it, guys. It's all part of it. So I think that's the message.
That concludes this episode of Stogies and Stuff, episode 9. Breaking down today's agenda, news, media, all that other bullshit. But we're here for y'all, people. Got love for all y'all. Let's do this.
Yes, we do, guys. We got this.
Keep stay tuned.